Okay, I've also been asked to do a walk around the bike to point out all the little jobs I've done through the winter. So first thing we did was to fit the docking kit, the extra bobbins on the back, so you can get the rack on there or the sissy bar and backrest. That was the first thing I did. Next thing I did was to remove the left hand side cover to fit the Vance & Hines FP3 Fuel Pack 3 tuner, so that I can then tune the bike or remap the bike once I've got the air filter done, which I've now done, or to do the exhaust. While we're on this side, another thing I did, I then changed the Derby cover, which I think is, I like it, it's very nice Derby cover, very deeply engraved. They've been doing it in chrome for a long time, but as the original bike comes with black, I prefer to do it in black. Moving round, I have the handlebar mount for a camera, but I'm also going to try and fit one to the helmet or to a body somewhere, so there's not quite as much vibration, which there is on a few bits of revs. There is. Also got the mount on the handlebar to put the smartphone on, which I mainly use. I don't use it for the sat nav, I use it for the information from the FP3, so I can read all the sensor information and have that as the rev counter rather than the little one within the speedo console. One other thing was the proper Harley Davidson lock-in fuel cap. Next thing I did around here was to replace the timing cover. 115th anniversary, little bit of bling, but I thought as it was a 2018 bike, it'd be good to have something on there to show that. Then moving on up, we did the Extreme Screaming Eagle Extreme Flow air filter, and at that point I did have to remap the bike with the FP3 fitted as we said. Moving on, we then fitted the Harley Davidson Sundowner seat, primarily so it had a nice big seat on the back for the girlfriend, but I also am very impressed with the rider's seat, because you get a deeper back to the rider's seat, so it does support the lower back a lot more. We did then fit the rack, which I haven't got on there at the moment, the rack, which is the Tour Pack 2-up rack. Right, onto the rack. Okay, rack on the bike. I'm doing it without the panniers and the box on, just to show, so you can see exactly where it's going. It is a plastic coated steel cable, so it's, you know, as long as you're careful, you're not going to scratch anything. And quite simply, because we've got a couple of holes in the rack, we can feed it through one side, out the other side, and because the rack, once this is secured to the wheel, the rack cannot go anywhere. So we then take our U-clamp that I've now unlocked, feed one end in, and if you think the box is in the way, so I'll go lower down, feed it through one of the spokes in the wheel and out the other side. Take your loop from the other side, and lock it in place. Let's move the camera so I can show you that. So, plastic cable through the hole in the rack, and even with the box there, I'll show you with the box on in a minute, you feed it down behind the box. From the other side it's easier to see. I've taken the U-bolt and it's fed through one of the spokes on the wheel, and the cable is then attached there. So you cannot remove that rack without taking the rear wheel off. Yes, it's 12mm cable, a determined thief will, as I say, pick the bike up and carry it away, and they'll cut this off later. The same with a U-clamp. You've got a specialist cutter, you will get through that. But it's to deter the opportunist thief who's coming along. The only way to deter the professional is either fit it with a trigger and a time bomb, or you keep it in a garage, which is what we've got to do in the UK. So that's then secured the back wheel and the rack when the rack's on there. Okay, so just in case anyone was in any doubt, I'll put the panniers back on. But as you can see, the hole we've got to put through is clearly above the panniers. Yes, you've got a narrower gap down the side, but I will now show you can still get it through there. So I'm sure somebody out there is saying, oh, what about when you got the panniers on, will it fit? Well, here we go, I shall show you that it will. In one side, out the other. Leave enough to hit the bottom of the wheel there. This is brand new out the packet, so no doubt if I tried I could straighten it out a little bit. So first end through here, underneath, and feed that through the spoke of the wheel. So yes, feed the cable down the side, underneath, U-bolt through the wheel, through the spokes, and out the other side and locked in place. Yes, it's a little bit fiddly, but rather lose that than the rack, the box, and all the goods that's in it, as I said before. So easy to do and cheap. Okay, something else I've been asked about from a couple of guys who bought Harleys from the same place I did. They hadn't reset their PIN number. All the bikes come with a PIN number from the factory. Most dealers then reset it to a number that they would like, so they know the PIN number of your bike. So the answer is, when you get your bike, change the PIN number. Now you read the handbook and it sounds very complicated, but it's not. Your ignition on off key, you just got to cycle 5 times. So from the off, you go on, off, on. And when you then do the third on, you press the left indicator twice and then the right indicator once. So I'll say that again. On, off, on. Click, click on the left, then 1 click on the right indicators. So here we go. So that then comes up with your existing PIN, which for the purpose of this exercise I've set to 12121. Hopefully you can see that the left hand digit, I'll zoom in just a touch just to make sure. You can see that the left hand digit is flashing, the first digit. These digits you can only set from 1 to 9, there is no 0 in there. So to change that one, let's go to all the 9. So you just press with the left indicator, keep pressing until that number gradually changes. So we'll take it all the way up to 9, so we stick a number in that I'm not going to forget in a hurry. So 9, when you've got the number you want, just press the right indicator once and it moves on to the next digit. Then it press the right indicator and it moves on to the third digit. I'll edit this because you don't need to see me setting all 5 digits. So there we go, last digit on the 9, you press the right indicator and it goes back to the first digit, which we've already done. So at this stage, all you have to do, turn the ignition off. And that has now remembered that number. So that pin number is now 9999. So if your key fob does ever go flat, or you've lost the fob or something and you come to the bike without it, I'll just take the fob away and then I can show you what happens. So if you've lost the fob or the battery's gone flat for whatever reason when you've been out, here's what happens if you try and start the bike. Turn the ignition on and straight away it'll tell you enter pin. So at this stage you press the left hand button again, which I'll scroll through and show you without the key fob. You then put the pin number in. But at any time in this process, if suddenly your battery, your fob starts working, it would then cancel this and automatically turn on. But just to show you it does work, I'll scroll through, get our 5 nines in there to show that it does work. Here we go. As we get to the last 9, you'll see all the dashboard light up, the ignition will come on as we now press our right button again. There you go. So that is starting it without the key fob. If you've lost it or the battery's gone flat or for some reason it won't work, you can start it, get you home, sort your battery out or sort the whatever the problem is out. There we go. Okay, while we've got the camera here, another question I've been asked is about how to reset the clock. In the UK we change the time twice a year, forward an hour in the spring and back an hour in the fall. This is all to do with the farming hours and getting the farmers out of bed once the sun's shining, get out there and do some work. So I'll quickly show you how to do that. We know on the left hand handlebar, let's turn the ignition on, left hand handlebar we have our button to scroll through the various things: revs per minute, total mileage, trip A, trip B, the range that's left in the tank, and back to the clock. So once you've got the clock and you want to reset it, all you do is hold down on that toggle button, just hold it down, then it starts flashing. So you want 12 hours, or press it again and you get 24 hours, but I don't, so we'll press it again to go back to 12 hours, then just hold it till the display changes again. There we go. So now it's letting me change the hours, which when we go to summertime you're only changing the hour, so you just flick forward one and then it's done. In this case we'll just move it forward 2 hours and then press and hold that and it will move on to the minutes. So we'll just move it up 1 minute because I don't want to go too far off. Then you press and hold it and again it will come back to the AM or PM. So we're now on PM, so press again to get the PM, then press and hold and it will come back to the full clock. Simple as that. But I'll do it again because my clock is, that's now 2 hours ahead. I think it's 3:58, isn't it? At this stage you can just turn the ignition off, turn it back on, and as you see it has remembered the time of 3:58. So simply how to change your pin if you haven't done it, please do it, and how to change the clock whenever you need to. Well, thanks for watching, people. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care, ride safely, catch you soon. Bye for now.